What's up to Lion Talk Live? Sir, we love you too, buddy.
What's going on, guys? It is Aiden Hutchinson.
What's up, man? It's your boy Amon-Ra St. Brown.
What's up, everybody? It's Calvin Johnson Jr. here, a.k.a. Megatron, a.k.a. First Ballot.
What's going on, Coach Dan at Lions Talk Live and the Duke Crew. This is Ball Hawk Ifeatu Melifonwu of the Detroit Lions. Everybody make sure you help support the YouTube channel Lions Talk Live by clicking that like and subscribe button. Let's get it and go Detroit.
Greetings and salutations to everyone out there in YouTube land. This is Dan Skipper, offensive weapon for the Detroit Lions. Make sure you all help support Lions Talk Live and Coach Dan by clicking on that like and subscribe button. Everybody, woo!
I love nothing more than watching Lions Talk Live every morning. Woo!
Well, greetings and salutations, everybody out there in YouTube land. I am your host once again, Dan Thornton, and I want to thank you all for joining us here today. Lions Talk Live, Thursday morning edition. And yes, it's a Thursday morning where the Detroit Lions aren't facing any challenges. We don't have to worry about any injuries. We don't have to worry about what this team's doing or that team's doing or anything like that. We can just kick back, relax, and say, hey, it's a beautiful day to be a Detroit Lions fan because they may just be changing the game. Yes, as you can tell from the thumbnail here within, we did a little bit of talking yesterday. I gave out some stock advice to a lot of the guys in the chat that we have for the Detroit media guys and stuff like that. And a couple of them threw me a few bones. They said, thank you, por favor, especially as Tesla's stock tanked, at least in the morning. And then, said, you may want to pay attention to this. Go ahead and watch some film and pay attention to these things. Because from what they're talking about, and especially with talking with some of the people with the Detroit Lions organization, I think Ben Johnson's been playing a little bit of possum here and there while slowly working into a few details. We'll get into all that during the main topic of the daytime, but before we do, we got 5 headlines now. We've got some pro football focus notes, and hey, the Lions have done something no other team has done this season. You're going to ask what that is. It's not a huge thing, but I think we're all going to be impressed that Pro Football Focus took notice of Detroit's 2 elite-level defenders. We'll get into that. But before we do, real quick, if you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so, making that march for 8,100 subs. And I want to say we're like 43 or something like that. We're in the 40s. We're 40-some subs away from hitting 8,100. Also, if you would just take a half second of time, it's free of charge, easy to do. Reach on down, hit that thumbs up, the like button. As you guys probably know, if you've watched YouTube for any length of time, it helps the channel out exponentially. We try to get every video to 200 to 300 or more thumbs up or likes, just because it kicks the content out to more and more people who have not yet seen Lions Talk Live. All right, last but not least, if you are so inclined and looking to buy or sell property anywhere in the great state of Michigan, give me a call or shoot me a text. You now see my number on the screen, 269-998-2384. Reach on out. We can have a quick conversation, what we can do to save you some money, make the process easy, and help you find that great new commercial property, vacant land, or new house for you and the family. If you're outside of the state of Michigan, you can still get a hold of me. We have to do things a little bit different here and there. So go ahead and reach out and give me a call. All right, with all those formalities out of the way, let's go ahead and get into the first topic of the day. And as you guys probably know, that is 5 headlines now. I always do like that music. All right, 5 headlines now. Let's get into it. What I'm seeing from the Lions offense trending up, defense has been mostly held steadily. This is from the Athletic, Colton Pouncey. We all get it. Lions, we've all talked about from the week 1, week 2, probably a little bit of an overreaction with the loss to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But hey, we're almost a quarter of the way through the season. So what can we ascertain about both sides of the ball? Colton Pouncey does a great job analyzing this, breaking it down. The Lions offense is less than a half a point on average different this year versus last year. Of course, scoring 40-some points Monday night probably helped that out a little bit. But you know what? It is what it is. The season is based on all the games, not just 1 or 2 games. Now, when it comes to the defense, they are holding teams 3 points under the total from last year. Yes, it was more than that prior to Monday night, but you know what? Again, you got to review the entire season, not just 1 or 2 games. The Lions have a lot of good things starting to click on both sides of the ball, and you are starting to see some things emerge. When we get into Pro Football Focus, I think we'll have a little bit more information about some of the guys starting to really have a baseline for themselves. But Colton Pouncy, I think he does real good work. I think it's a great story if you want to go check it out. Lions believe Jahmyr Gibbs, quote, about to really take off, end quote. Sports Illustrated story by John Macaron. Macaron, who's been a longtime Lions beat reporter, is using a quote that's from MCDC, I want to say a couple days ago, right after, maybe it was Tuesday after Monday Night Football. But MCDC did a little bit of a conference, talked about a lot of different aspects with Lions, but did bring up the fact that he thinks Gibbs is just starting to get fully healthy again. Sort of like Sam Laporta. For these two guys, the bye weeks probably come in at a perfect time. We all get Gibbs was dealing with a hamstring injury throughout most of training camp. And it really wasn't until about the week right before where they felt he was good enough to really kind of get back in the practice field, get going. So he missed some conditioning. He missed some strengthening. He missed some reps with the offense, whatever you want to say it is. But what it is that this guy is about ready to get fully healthy probably after the bye. And it's probably bad news for the Packers, Minnesota Vikings, and yes, the Dallas Cowboys coming right after the bye. I think it's a great time for the bye for the Lions because we talked about it a few times throughout this preseason. The Lions actually have two semi kind of buys later in the year with the Thanksgiving Day Thursday night game, and there's another Thursday night game where they get 10 days off between games. So I think they really had a great spot here. Gibbs, is he going to get fully healthy and really be a terror for those next few games coming out of the bye? I think so. All right. News study claims Detroit Lions fans are rudest in the NFL. Sports Illustrated, Christian Boer on this one. And are we perhaps the worst fans in the NFL when it comes to just being rude at games? Who knows? And to be honest, I don't really care. That's part of being the home team. You get to do those kind of things. As long as you're not throwing anything or talking directly to a player, just being overtly rude or disrespectful, that stuff I'm not worried about. But what the article does go into is the amount of language we use on teams. And again, as long as it's just using it towards a team in general, that's fine. If you start targeting a certain person, that's where I think maybe you're crossing the line a little bit. But hey, Lions fans, it's part of the home field advantage. Let them know you're representing your team. Go out there and just have a little bit of self-awareness with what you're saying. All right. I wasn't going to originally bring the story up about Ashika, but I thought when we always talk about personality traits and what makes the Detroit Lions work, in my opinion, now I don't have any kind of concrete evidence on this, but just somebody who has been a scout at the professional level for, I don't know, years and years. I would say Detroit Lions, this headline, Keita Ashika earns praise for standing up for former classmates bully. USA Today. I think it's a great story and indication of the type of people that the Detroit Lions tend to draft and bring in via free agency. They are very, very cognizant and aware of who they want and who they don't want on the team from, again, an internal personality standpoint and components. I think you want to read this story. It's just a great summary of the type of players we have. The fact that this guy went out of his way, it's an all-world basketball player, football player in high school, and purposely tried to help this girl who was being bullied. I think it speaks volumes to the type of guys that we have with the Detroit Lions. All right, sizing up Detroit Lions Super Bowl 2025 competition at quarter mark of NFL season. This is from the Detroit Free Press, Dave Burkett, and I would say Burkett's all over it, man. If you want to talk about who's the big contenders in just the NFC alone for the Detroit Lions to have to deal with, I don't think it's a big surprise for everyone. He still lists San Francisco and Dallas, Philadelphia, Tampa Bay. There's a bunch of them. Seattle's on there too. But just kind of going through who really ranks and who's going to end up really being in the dogfight. Let's not forget either in our own division, Minnesota and Green Bay. You want to win the division. If you don't have a chance at the number one seed. So we'll get a free second. You're probably going to know most of the answers here, but go ahead and check it out. All right, we're going to do something a little bit different today with the Pro Football Focus. So we're going to try to create a segment here. So let's go over and get into that. All right, so for these, sometimes I know I just read them off to you guys, and sometimes you guys say, hey, can you put them on the screen? I thought about doing different graphics. I thought about just doing some pictures, but the only problem is you just have so much information that what I decided to do is I'm going to go ahead and put them on a scroller at the bottom of the screen. So they'll be on there throughout the rest of the show, or most of the rest of the show. You guys can check them out. All right, so let's go with the offense here. Sam Laporta led the way with, basically a near perfect game at 87.1. Jared Goff, I'm surprised this grade was not higher, because really, what could he have done better? I'm not sure, but the fact that it wasn't at least a 90, I guess I'll leave that up to Pro Football Focus, but he's at 80.9. Tim Patrick, keep your eyes focused on this one because it also correlates with the main topic of the day. He's at 80.1. Taylor Deckard, basically an 80, but a 79.3. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 77.2. Penei Sewell, maybe still struggling a little bit with that ankle, and we don't know about it, but I thought it was a little low for him. 75.3. Jahmyr Gibbs was next. It's, let's see. Yeah, it's at 72.4. Defense now. Let's go with Aiden Hutchinson. Now, you're going to say, Dan, I thought you said the Lions had 2 elite defenders. We'll get into that momentarily. Aiden Hutchinson, 91.2, and yes, that is a career-high performance. So even though he didn't get any sacks, nothing of that sort, the amount of pressures, and it depends on who you ask, Pro Football Focus has him at 15 pressures on the night. And then I think the NFL itself put out there that there was 10 pressures. So either way, either number, he got to the quarterback a lot. He got hits on there, and he flushed Geno Smith out of the pocket a whole lot. Let's see. Ali McNeil is next at 77. Kirby Joseph, 74.7. Amik Robertson, 73. Linebacker Jack Campbell, I guess it's not going down on my screen. Hold on. I got to try to. All right, Jack Campbell, 71.5. DJ Reader, 69.2. Jalen Reeves-Maben, 68.5. Josh Pascal, basically a 68 at 67.7. Mekhi Wingo, his highest of his young career, at 67.5. Malcolm Rodriguez, 65.9. Kevin Zettler now at 67.9. Jameson Williams, 67.8. David Montgomery is last on the list at 65.1. So pretty good performance by all of them, I would say, indeed. Now, let's go to the other notes, and this is where you guys will have a little fun with it. Trevor Nowitzki, remember that guy that we got? He got a 90 also on defense. Yes, the linebacking phenom with all the athleticism. The Lions just keep salivating at bringing this guy back. He had a heck of a game. The only caveat is the following. Not bad for a guy who played the Sam linebacker for the first time. It was only 8 snaps, but that's good. And the fact that, maybe he's somebody you can develop into something more, but make no mistake, on those 8 snaps, he played at an elite level. Now, I also get not overburdening the guy since he's never played the position before, but if he continues this up, the Lions might have really found a diamond in the rough. Maybe you could do a video on it or something, but 8 snaps, I'm not going to overreact, but with those 8 snaps, what he did out there, it couldn't have been much better. All right, Graham Glasgow, this one I was surprised at as I put in the notes here. He got a 54.6, and I don't know why he got that low of a grade, because if you watch the tape, he doesn't allow any pressures. There's nobody who comes up the middle that beats him that gets to Goff, and his run blocking, you watch the video, it's dang good. So somebody with more intrinsic information on how they grade, I guess, would have to explain that one. All right, the next one I thought I'd point out is Terrion Arnold. He's on that list too. It's scrolling at the bottom of your screen. He got a career high, 56.8. So I know we talked about it yesterday and during the post-game show. I thought he played his best game of his young career. Yes, he had a ton of penalties. Otherwise, this grade would probably be somewhere in the high 60s, maybe low 70s, but somewhere in that range. His coverage, and you even have Troy Aikman mentioned a couple times, is pretty dang good. It's just his use of hands that's got to come down. And then James Houston, man, it's sorry to see this one. 29.5. The end is near for Houston. It's just unfortunately, for whatever reason, he's just not doing very well right now. All right, we'll keep those on the bottom of the screen for you guys, and then we'll go ahead and get over to the main topic of the day. All right, main topic of the daytime. As you can see from the thumbnail for this particular video, some of the guys in the Detroit media did talk to me about how the offense has changed a little bit. And some of this is going to be multi-layered. It's not just one thing, just so you guys know. One, when he came into training camp, well, the big doubt with the Detroit Lions was going to be their wide receiver depth. Let me ask each of you, do you feel like it's still an issue for the team? We haven't even seen Isaiah Williams. We have seen Tim Patrick. We understand Allen Robinson is now part of the 53-man roster, and it is quite possible the Lions have one of the deepest wide receiver groups in the entire NFL. We went from having not enough to having maybe, you could argue, almost too much, but whatever it is, Khalif Raymond clearly has a role with this team. He's being used like he has in the past, and you know what? He's awesome at it. Tim Patrick has turned out to be just an absolute diamond in the rough for the team, and somebody more and more, as he gets more and more comfortable with this team, I think is going to cause a lot of big problems. Now, with all that being said, what is the Detroit Lions offense doing all of a sudden that is putting the rest of the league on notice? When you go get a chance, if you want this weekend or whatever, you got a free opportunity, go back and rewatch the offense, the game from Seattle. Watch the, Arizona game, and you can even throw the Tampa Bay game in there too. Watch the number of rub routes the wide receivers run out wide on the sideline to help get each other open. And watch how Ben Johnson is now using, I'll just pick out one play here, how he is forcing defenses into bad multi-layered defense. What do I mean by that? Let's go back and talk about the Jameson Williams play that, we score in the, I think it was the third quarter on his deep shot, the touchdown, the 70-some yarder. Watch what he does on this side with Amon-Ra St. Brown to drag Witherspoon deep onto the sideline, and how he sends Sam Laporta over the middle in a stop route. What does that do against a lot of coverages? Well, you got to go with St. Brown deep, otherwise he's wide open for a what? A touchdown. By having Laporta go over the middle, you're now forcing those linebackers to come up towards the line a little bit. And not that this is just one example, so don't hold me. But when you had the rub route over on this side between Laporta and Gibbs, Gibbs takes off deep down the sideline, forcing that safety, that single high safety, to come over with him. But now he cuts in once Laporta cuts, and he cuts over the middle. And guess what? Since those linebackers came up to have to bite on Laporta, and you dragged out the other safety along with Witherspoon to pick up St. Brown, he's scheming a lot of guys wide open. And if you go back and watch Arizona, you go back and watch Tampa Bay, you go back and watch Seattle game, yes, there are times there are other guys open. But I think what Ben Johnson's doing with so many rub routes, so we're basically the picks, the screens that so many offenses run. You saw Seattle get called for an illegal screen downfield. You saw the Lions get it. He's forcing a lot of coverage negotiations, which are forcing guys to be wide open. I'm anticipating, especially since Tim Patrick has emerged with this team, and Allen Robinson probably will too, where now you have to respect some of those deep sideline passes. I think the Lions are going to have a lot of more scoring strikes like they did against the Seattle Seahawks. Tim Patrick's emergence and the better use of the sidelines, which if you watch this show for a while, you've heard me complain in week 1 and week 2, man, Tampa Bay was so compressed into the hash marks on in that, there was no threat on the outside. But as the offense, or whatever you want to call it, has continued to emerge, now that zone defense that was limiting us against the Rams and against Tampa Bay now has to go all the way out and guard those sidelines. And they have to respect those sidelines. And it's not just because of one player, it's because the scheme changes. I think because of what he's doing with a lot of triple formations, with the tight ends, with some of the running backs, and yes, the wide receivers, you're going to force a lot of teams on defense to all of a sudden have to play more man-to-man coverage. Because if you don't, you're going to give up some kill shots like the Lions are starting to expose the NFL for. Everybody wants to play zone coverage. We all talked about it last year with the Bears scheme that they came up with right before Thanksgiving, and then the Packers mirrored or mimicked or copied, whatever you want to say, on Thanksgiving Day game against the Lions, where they kept 2 linebackers just deep enough, about 6-7 yards off the line of scrimmage, knowing that Ben Johnson's offense all wants to run to the middle of the field. But conversely now, by forcing so much of that sideline action, those linebackers that want to stay down low, and sometimes it's a safety, now have to expand more and more. And what's that doing? It's opening up that second layer route out for the offense, which is why Jameson Williams got so many shots there, why Tim Patrick got some shots there. And yes, you saw St. Brown get in there too. The more you force the defense to have to guard the entire field, the less effective a zone defense is. You get in the red zone, maybe it gets a little bit more effective. All right, so I gave you guys those quick breakdowns. I think if you go back and rewatch that film and you want to pull like the coaching video, the 22 film, and just break it down, get the wide angles, I think you're going to see just how open more and more of these guys are starting to get. And yes, Goff isn't going to hit every wide open guy. You can't give everybody the ball. You can't dice it up into 3 balls and throw it out there so 3 different guys get the pass on the same play. But it's not probably a coincidence against Arizona that Goff in the first half was whatever he was, 13 out of 13, 15 out of 15. And then this past game, he was, obviously 18 out of 18 because he is getting dialed in with the offense. Because Ben Johnson, we sometimes talk about coaching adjustments. There are clear adjustments being made from week 1 to week 2 and from that bridge to week 3 and 4. So I think the Lions are changing the game a little bit as being corroborated by the film by how they're attacking the zones and now making zones a whole lot less effective. Again, as long as you have time. When they've blitzed in the past, I talked about this after the Lions game with Jahmyr Gibbs. The big knock on the Lions offense is when Gibbs is in the field and you have a tight end not on that side of the field, that they were going to blitz the weak side and force Gibbs to pick it up. Well, you know what Gibbs did Monday night? He picked up that blitz, and that his grade should be much higher, in my opinion, because for the first time in his career, he proved himself to be a sound blocking assignment on blitz pickup responsibilities. And he continues that. You're going to force even more pressure on the defensive coordinators because now you can't get to Goff so easily. And if you're going to blitz, especially from that weak side backer, safety, whoever it's going to be, and soundly picked up, you're now leaving more favorable coverage for a guy who already likes to go play action pass to pick you apart. All right, I've talked enough on this one. Let's get to you guys. We've got about 8 minutes until Anthony from Lions Roar UK is going to be joining us. Since he couldn't make it Tuesday, he was helping out some family friends. He's going to hop on today. So let's dive into it. Michael D. Greens, salutations, coach and do crew! Exclamation points. Superdome, Super Bowl, what pride! Woo, woo! And good morning to you too, my friend. Stephanie, good morning, boys! Exclamation point. Working today and listening in while I can. I am hoping it's good news about the offense. I think so, man. And especially now that you're going to have 2 weeks to get ready for the Dallas defense. A Dallas defense that is going to be without not Trevor Lawrence, but DeMarco Lawrence and then potentially Micah Parsons, among others. Yeah, the Lions might end up putting up some points that game. See, Matthew Greens, salutations. Good morning, everyone. Superdome, Super Bowl. Woo, woo, woo. Sheila likes a two. Woo, in the fresh morning, too. All right, you know what? Hey, you ask it, you'll get it. And there you go. All right, let's see. Michael D. Good morning, Stephanie. Have a safe one. 100%, especially in your line of work. Let's see. Robert, greetings, salutations. Dan and Cruz, same to you, Robert. Hopefully it's a great one. Phil, hello. And hello there, Phil. Nice photo there, my friend. Let's see, Stephanie. Thank you, Michael. Robert, Hatman, hope the hunt is going well. Oh, yeah, I forgot. Yeah, he's out there hunting, isn't he? Moonscar Blade, good morning, Duke Crew. Starting lineup, exclamation point. I hope everyone has a nice day. I hope we will see a juggernaut offense after the bye week. I think that's leaning and trending that way. Robert, Tigers are awesome. Yes, they are indeed. In the eighth, man, what a great eighth inning comeback there, and then shutting him down in the bottom of the ninth. Yeah, great win for them. See, Jess Green's salutations. I think each week we've seen the offense pick it up, doing more. Monday night was something different, though. We could be that team. We could be indeed. And here's my other thought with it, and I want to try to get through all your guys' comments, and I get it will be pressed for time with Anthony coming on. But the other part of things, I know I briefly mentioned it, but I think this league is so now inundated with wide receivers, the teams can't keep them all. I think you might be seeing a trend that the Lions started. I do believe Brad Holmes had a plan coming into training camp that there were going to be 3 or 4, maybe 8 wide receivers made available that would benefit the Lions. And you know what? He took the gamble. He took the swing. He hit it out of the park so far, I'd say. See, Brent, good morning, folks. Lombardi and no bust, exclamation point. Oh, yeah, I'll go with that. Trey, what's good? Hey, Coach Dan, are you doing any kind of watch party event on Sunday, rooting against teams kind of deal? You know, if enough of you guys want, I don't Well, let me look into it. Make sure that Jen doesn't have anything planned first before I commit to anything. So, all right, John, what do you got? Our offense is finally coming around. Sometimes you just have to outscore your opponent. It helps to get your defense off for a break. Yeah, the only thing I would say negatively, it's really being nitpicky. We just scored so fast in the second half that man, the defense rarely got an opportunity to really catch its breath. See, Clark, how about those Tigers? New crew? Question mark. What a story. Yes, indeed. The last 6-7 weeks for them, magical stuff. I mean, it is Disney Hollywood type stuff. Eddie, what do you got? Greetings and salutations, everyone. Tim Patrick was a big addition for the team. I feel like Holmes had a plan. Yeah, I agree. All along going into the season regarding the third and fourth receiver. Yeah, at this point, you'd have to say it almost seemed like they schemed this way for the roster to be completed that way. And hey, think outside the box. Nothing wrong with that. Brand Holmes seems to do it, and he does it very well. Moonscar, trade Tipton, not a bad idea. We could watch the Packers, Rams, and be Stafford fans for a day. Yes, yeah, that could be a possibility. I'd say Mike the Marine Gunny. Howdy, Dan and the Duke Crew. A salute to our Tigers. The Lions are going to put a lot of problems on defensive coordinators. Heal up our injured with the bye week, and Dallas plays Sunday night in Pittsburgh. Yeah, so it's not a huge thing, but hey, you just took a few more hours worth of rest and preparation away from Dallas by doing that. I'm all for it, man. I'll take every advantage they'll throw us. See, Mike the Marine Gunny. Oh, and I forgot to say, woo, and good woo to you too, Gunny. Moonscar Blade, Tigers are changing the pitching game in Major League Baseball. You'd have to believe so. And, you guys know me. I like being aggressive. I like being assertive. I like thinking outside of the box. I only kind of occasionally watch the Tigers. I'm not really big into it, but just watching these past few weeks and a little bit here and there, what they are doing is trend setting. It's very similar in some fashions to the movie Moneyball with the Oakland A's, or former Oakland A's, whatever you want to call them now. Trey, Moonscar Blade, I don't know. Might be rooting for him again. Yeah, might be fun rooting for Stafford again. There you go. Phil, I heard J-Mo was clocked at 35 miles per hour. That's inhuman speed. Yeah, and that's something I heard. Maybe some other people heard it too. I don't think he maintained the speed very long. I think it's when he first starts turning up the field, the clock gets up to 35 from, and then it drops down to like 26 or 7. But for a second there, he hit the Jets, and that's all he needed to get past everybody. Matthew, I do think we still need to look at adding an edge rusher like Max Crosby, but I don't think Crosby will be available unless he doesn't want to stay through the Raiders rebuild. Yeah, Crosby, I think, would be a challenge to say the least. I know, was it Hendricks for the Bengals? Another guy mentioned a lot. There probably is somebody out there. It's just whether or not Brad Holmes is going to be able to pull off the trade. I have no doubt he's going to make some phone calls if he isn't already trying to test the waters, so to speak. But we'll see what happens in time. Frank Tank, what up, though, East Side? Woo, woo, woo. Go Tigers and go Lions. 100%, my friend. Good to see you this morning. Tori, I think that's what Dan said the other day, Phil. I don't know if that's accurate or not. Anyone able to figure it out? That I don't know. If somebody has, let me know. See, Dennis, good morning, Dan, the Duke Crew. How's everyone? Pretty good. How about you, Dennis? Let's see, Matthew, if Cincy tanks, then Trey Hendrickson may be available. He'd be a good fit with DJ Reader. Yeah, since they are, already have some familiarity for sure. Let's see, Frank the Tank, ain't nobody running at 35 miles an hour. There you go. I have no idea, guys. I think that's what I saw, but don't hold me to it. Phil, I think it was a burst speed, not in the flat. Yes, correct. See, Dennis, hit that like button. Yeah, if you guys can, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. You guys all get it. It helps out a ton. See, Franz, good day all. A big Thursday night football game today for the Lions NFC race, and it will impact Lions. Yes, it is. I'm pulling for Atlanta to pull it off because, unfortunately, Tampa Bay is our one loss. See, Matthew, J-Mo is clocked between 22 and 26 miles per hour. Thanks for that. Rich, Lions and Tigers roaring 24, 100%. It's a great season for both of them, hopefully. See, Dennis, go Tigers. There you go. Phil, it's been a while since the NFC North was the best division. And you know what? It does appear that we are the best division. Dennis, who Lions? All right, we'll go who Lions. Who are the Lions? How about who Lions? There you go. Moonscar, Laporta being back to full strength is helping to pull a linebacker out of the middle and open up the underneath routes for St. Brown to eat up. So what St. Brown does. Yeah, and you're seeing the distributing of the ball offensively it's putting more and more pressure on defenses because if you don't focus on just one guy, if you don't force the ball to one guy, just take what they give you, man, you can't really lock in and try to dial on one particular guy to try to eliminate them from the offense. And see, Miles Marker, great salutations, coach and crew, listening while fishing in freelance job this morning. Woo! Well, hopefully you have a great time out there, my friend. Bruce Bear, Usain Bolt's fastest record time, recorded time with the 100-meter. He hit 27.78 miles per hour. That's a world record. J-Mo doesn't run 35 miles per hour. Yeah, I don't think if he hit it, I don't think he hit it very long. And, somebody would have to do a deep dive on how it happened. I'm just watching the route, and it does seem to clock up there. But, again, I was watching it live while trying to do some other stuff. Could I have got it wrong? Absolutely, man. Frank Tang, a lot of football people played still, fellas. Still a lot of football to still be played there, fellas. 13 games to go. Lions, go Tigers. 100%. Go everybody. Go Detroit. How about that? Phil St. Brown mentioned he's the number 3 quarterback. Is that true? That I don't know. But, what I can say is he's never thrown an incomplete pass in his career. Miles Marker, Broski, Bear, that got cleaned up in chat yesterday. Yes, agreed. See, Papa Noel, good morning, Duke crew, exclamation point. Anyone else watching the game tonight rooting for Atlanta? I will be. I'll be eating a little bit of pizza with some hot sauce and probably watching the game a little bit while Jen snores. Let's see, Miles Marker, please like, share, and copy. You don't have to send it, but it still counts good for the channel. Yeah, thanks for that. Anything you guys can do to help out, that would be great. Moonscar, I'm around, likes to talk a lot of stuff on his channel with his bro. I doubt he truly is the number 3 quarterback. One never knows. Keeps you guessing. All right, it's that time to bring our favorite friend from across the pond, the Brit with Grit. Let's get over to Anthony. Anthony, how are you doing this morning, sir?
Hey, I'm doing good, Dan. I'm doing good, you crew. Hope you are all well on this lovely bye week, 3-1. Gotta be happy.
I would think so. I mean, at the start of the year, when you first saw the Lions' schedule, what was your take on it? And do you think, hey, 3-1 is superseding expectations about what you thought, or do you think we should be 4-0?
Minimum was 3 wins out these first 4 games. You've got 3 games at home. You've got a rough stretch of road fixtures coming after the bye. You want to start if you mean to go on. And, we've played 4 very tough teams. A couple of our biggest bogey sides, teams who are going to be in and around the playoffs. So to be 3-1 I think it's really good for us. It sets a really good platform going forward. We can rest up now, come back. We're in form. The offense looks like it's firing, and we can go into this set of road games full steam ahead. Hopefully, pick off a few more wins.
So let's talk about the offense real quick. We all get it. When we started the preseason, there were a lot of questions about the wide receiver room. Was there enough depth? What we're going to do? We're only going to go with 3 receivers, 4 receivers when the final 53-man roster was announced. Do you think it's possible Brad Holmes went into the preseason saying, hey, we're going to acquire, and when cut day happens, 1 or 2 guys are going to help round out this wide receiver room?
Yeah, absolutely. They've made a point of trying to get guys in just to fill out what we need, and we've you saw Tim Patrick finally arrive to the show the other day, which is great, and it's we've got all we need here at this moment in time, and the reason the offense is doing so well is we're spreading the ball out now. We're not having like one guy having a big game. In this one, Amon-Ra, Tim Patrick, Gibbs, Monty, J-Mo, everybody got involved, and you could just see the Seahawks defense had no idea how to deal with it. We didn't come out just running the ball all the time. We took some deep shots early, so the one to J-Mo, it was one play, boom, bada bing, in. You extend that lead again right away, and we kept the scoreboard rolling, which we've not done in a long time, but we just spread the ball around. And when you're spreading the ball around and you're not as predictable as we have been in the first few games, it's, there are very few teams that will be able to defend against us with the talent we have. So it's taken a little bit of time, but we seem to have found our niche now for it. And hopefully it just carries on being like that, because we look terrific.
We did indeed. And, it's perhaps, man, that offense just looked explosive. Like you said, the Seattle just didn't seem to have any answers consistently for it. And both teams were scoring left and right, but the Lions got a couple takeaways. So let's talk about the defense now. Let's move on to the secondary, because there are going to be some people that say it looked Monday night a whole lot like last year. Do you think that's fair? Do you think this secondary is showing some improvement? What are your thoughts overall?
I think the secondary is showing a lot of improvement. Like, if you were expecting the secondary to be great right off the bat, then that's more fool you. You've got a lot of rookies in there. You've got even the free agent guys are new. They're all new in there, pretty much. So, it's going to take time for them to develop continuity. It's going to develop time for them to work at the top of their game. But you've seen in the last few games now that they're starting to get there. You're getting takeaways like Kirby. Kirby's having a year 3 bounce. He looks really good. And the corners are undergoing a very stern test at this moment in time. Like, we've gone up against some of the league's most elite receivers. You've already had Cooper Kupp. You've already had Mike Evans, who's a future Hall of Famer. You've got DK Metcalf, who could potentially be as well. These are not bad receivers you're going up against. And you can see that they're getting better as time goes on. Like, Carlton is looking better. Terrion is looking a lot better. And I'm quite, I'm very optimistic as to where they go, because people don't forget, like, the one thing our offense did wrong on Sunday Monday was to score too quickly. Like, 1 play touchdown, 4 play touchdowns. Like, that defense was out there for 11 minutes more than beforehand. So that's a lot of reps. Hutch played 99 reps. Oh, sorry, the defense played 99 reps. That's a lot in a game. So, of course, it's going to wear you down over a bit of time. And just because we were scoring so fast, you'd have issues there. But 9 pass breakups, that's really good from your secondary. When you're coming up against a triumvirate of exceedingly good receivers, Lockett, Metcalf, Jackson Smith and Jig, but even Jake Bobo look good. They're very deep there. So to hold on against them for so long, I think is a testament to they are going in the right direction, and we should not be worried about them.
So let's talk about Hutchinson real quick, because it seems like he's on a bit of a historic pace. Just what he's done in the first quarter of the season, even though he did get tons of snaps, reps, or whatever. The fact that depending on who you're asking, he had either 15 pressures or 10 pressures in that game. Man, oh man, it's just hard to think of anybody else in the league who's doing what he's doing. Do you think the Lions, got really one of the best defensive ends in the league? And 2-part question, should they go out and try to acquire another end?
I mean, first off, screw PFF and their metrics and stats. I don't give a damn whether he got 15 or whether he got 10. My own eyes that I watched that game with saw him absolutely dominate and just bring the pressure nearly every play. And to say he played like 80-odd snaps and he was still going. He's invigorated, he's motivated, and he's playing the best football of his career so far. I think, I said this on our show the other day, I think we might be seeing statistically the best season he will ever put up. Like, he may never reach these numbers again, not because he won't be as good, but just because he's on a tear. Every guy has that one season where they just absolutely go nuts. And if he carries on at 10 pressures a game, approaching the 200 pressure mark, and then if he goes into the postseason and does more, then he just won't reach that number just because it's so damn high. But he's on a tear right now. As to the other thing, does he need help? Yes, he does. We need to go out and get another edge rusher. You can't stop adding talent. Just because he's playing so well doesn't mean you don't think about adding talent to the room. You've always got to add talent to the room. And then eventually he will miss games. Like, every player in the NFL misses games pretty much at some point. And you need a plan B to be able to work while he's not there. And unfortunately, on the, out of the other edge rushers, no one's really standing up to bat at the moment in time. We're never going to see Davenport again. And Pascal and Houston just are not cutting it really right now. So you've got to go out there and trade. Obviously, I still think you should go out there and get someone big. Trey Hendrickson is always the guy I've been looking at, and you want to put a pair of elite edges on there and go for it. Super Bowl windows are small. You can keep them open by drafting well and doing young, but you do have to accept that there is a window. Like, this is a window year, and you've got to take advantage of it. You only need to get there once, win it once, and then you can reset again. So you absolutely do need to go out and find somebody to do opposite him, because the interior is doing incredibly well. Notice the Seahawks did not try to run the ball on us through the tackles at all in this game. Even in the first half, they just didn't even try. So just get that last guy there to go with it, and you're good.
So other than Hendrickson, is there anybody else out there at the defensive end spot? Because I think if we were to run a poll on Lions fans or anybody really across the NFL, if the Lions had a spot that most people would identify as being the one spot, maybe we could shore up a little bit. It's probably going to be pass rush opposite end of Hutchinson. Who else other than Hendrickson do you think could be a potential target?
I mean, at this moment, you'd have to start looking towards the teams that really are not as good. I mean, you may be looking in the way of the Dolphins. You've got the young guys there. You got like Jalen Phillips, young guys like that. You want to. I think I would be in that market as well because the Dolphins are a bad football team this year. They're going to have to start selling. They've got a lot of payroll there. They've got a lot of expensive players, and not having a quarterback is going to kill them. So I think you could go raid the Dolphins room there, or look across to the Bills are doing quite well. I'd probably be looking towards the Dolphins if the Bengals can't cough anything up for me.
Would you, if you were the Lions, if you were Brad Holmes, would you call the Cleveland Browns about Myles Garrett?
No, that's way too expensive. Like Myles Garrett is older, but he's still elite. Like you're going to have to pay like first round picks plus for him for his entire. He will never be worth less than that. Like he just never will. It'd be like Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald was never worth less than first round picks, even till his last year. Like he's just that damn good. So ideally, you want someone younger in the room. Who you can keep a bit longer. It's like in Hendrickson's case, he's got 2 years of team control left. So you can still trade for a healthy contract. He's getting paid decent money, and it doesn't affect your ability to pay your other guys in this. In this meanwhile, it kind of works really well with him. And I don't think the price is as high as like Max Crosby, for example. A lot of people want Max Crosby, but that's going to set you back 2 or 3 firsts. I mean, Hendrickson might set you back 2, but definitely not 3. So, yeah.
Okay. So let's talk about the bye week now. We've got this time off. You got time to prepare for Dallas. What do you think about the first 3 games coming out of the bye, where you have Dallas, you've got Minnesota, and you got Green Bay? How big of a stretch is this for the Lions' chances for the postseason, let alone a high seed in the playoffs?
It's huge because you now are going to have about 3 months of uninterrupted football with no break. And you've got to set precedent. You can't afford to fall behind, which is why it was so vital that we won 3 or 4 to start with, just to give ourselves a little bit of a cushion. But, the NFC North, the schedule's not kind to us this year. We don't get a home game till week 13. You're going to Minnesota. You're going to Green Bay. If you lose those, you're putting yourself right behind in the NFC North race. The Vikings are undefeated at this moment in time. You can't really afford to let them get 2 games in front of you because then it creates a safety net for them. And you don't want to be chasing from behind. So this is big. Like Dallas is not a good team this year at this moment. They are not as good as they've been in recent years. If you like any given Sunday, NFL, anyone can beat anybody. But if you want to go to a Super Bowl and you really have the team to do it, you want to go to Dallas and beat them. We should have beaten them last year. We didn't. We're arguably better this year. They're arguably not as good. So you want to put some statement wins down there. You want to go to the Vikings, show them who's boss of this conference. They keep winning. Winning gets addictive, and we don't want them top of the NFC North. And then, you got Titans. I mean, Titans are awful. You'd expect to roll them over, but then you've got Green Bay. And Green Bay can be a good team. Again, they're not better than us, so you kind of want to go and put your marker down on them. You're going to lose one of them, I guess, at least of these 3 away trips. But it's really vital that you start winning. Because if you start losing, you start picking up injuries, your squad's banged up, and you've got no respite in sight, then it becomes very difficult for you to achieve what you want to do. So you need to come out hanging. And we should have a pretty healthy team when we come out of it. We should have the likes of Broderick back. A lot of these guys who are just nicked, banged up, Branch, etc., they'll be back. So we're in a good position to go out there and really take it to these teams off the bye. Be rested, go out there, just keep stacking wins.
So let me ask you, obviously Dallas is going to be a revenge game for us. The fans are going to want it. The players are going to want it. The coaches are going to want it because of how last year ended. What has happened to them where, they're not bad, as you alluded to, but they're not great. They're not anywhere. I think the team currently, at least, they don't appear to be anywhere near the type of team most would have guessed they would have been this year. What are your thoughts on them?
I mean, they've just struggled in general. I mean, running the football's been very difficult for them. That doesn't help, especially when, Dak can stat pad, but he can also turn it over quite a lot. You don't want him to be throwing the ball X amount of times per game, like Geno Smith was doing to us the other day. What was it, 56 pass attempts? It forces turnovers, it causes mistakes, it makes you a bit one-dimensional. That seems to be the issue with them. They're struggling to run the ball, and then, the offense is just not clicking. And then that defense has got injuries, right? Like, coming into this game, there's going to be no DeMarcus Lawrence against us already. Micah Parsons is hurt. And they've sort of, that way that defense has worked is a lot of D-line pressure, throwing up a lot of easy picks for their secondary, and their secondary is kind of stat padded. I don't think the secondary is as good as the stats would indicate, because they're getting a lot of freebies from the defensive line pressure, and that defensive line pressure is not as good this year, so you're seeing the defense not be as good. So, like, in their little elite areas, they're having problems. So I think that's the problem with them this year. And I think, they've had all the issues with paying people, not paying people on time. I think it affects the players. The coach is not very well liked. He's probably going to be out of a job soon. It feels like there's a disconnect in that entire organization. Like, the owner's just, crazy. Head coach not very much liked, and they've just got severe personnel issues. It just feels dysfunctional. Dysfunctional is the word. I think that's what the problem is with them, and you need to take advantage of that.
I'll go with that. And then I've got one last question for you, Anthony, if you don't mind. So there's been speculation or talk throughout the young season, and it is young, that whoever Detroit plays the following week, they just seem to get ran over. We saw that with the Rams. Hey, took us to overtime, got decimated by Arizona. Arizona, we go out and play them, then they get destroyed. If Tampa Bay, the week after we played, they played us and pulled off the win, they got ran over by a Denver team. Nobody saw that coming. If Seattle goes out and lays an egg, do you think this Detroit Lions team is just so physical that playing against them sets the opposing team back a couple weeks?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you've seen the Rams took injuries from the game with us. The Seahawks were banged up from this one. They more fool them coming into Ford Field and saying this team's not tough. That's just bulletin board material there for them. But they're physical, they're bullying. It takes a lot out of you, to play against our style of football. So I would agree. It's tough. You see some of these teams afterwards, and they do look like they've got a bit of a hangover. I mean, Tampa withstanding. I mean, they look tremendous against, was it Philly? They rattled off the other week. I mean, they just look such a good team this year. But it is. It's very physical. It's very bruising. And we're just always in your face, and we're always going at you. Even if things are not going so well, you have to fight for every yard against us. So, it's nice to be that team that, I mean, like, we faced it in the past. It's like, it used to be the Patriots that used to do that to you. They just used to beat you up. Like, they just used to physically bully you, beat you up, and you come out of it. And you're like, my God, what the hell just happened to us? But we're that team now. So I do agree. We just play really tough ball. And if you want to beat us, you're going to have to throw everything you've got and hope. So, yeah, it's not easy to play the Lions now. And I love it. I always want us to be that football team. I don't ever want us to go away from this.
Yeah, I like it, because I think the longer this thing sticks around, and if there becomes more and more evidence of it, I think you're going to force some, especially non-divisional coaches, to make a choice. Does beating the Lions matter, or the team afterwards? Like, especially if we're a non-conference team or something like that, where they got to make choices. So
exactly. The thing that makes us so dangerous is we've meshed old and new together. Like, Dan Campbell is old style football, run over, you do this, and Ben Johnson is that, sprinkling of new, that offensive innovation, getting your wide receiver to throw a touchdown pass to the quarterback, etc. And it's a lovely mesh of old and new. And I think a lot of teams just don't know how to deal with it when we get it working properly. And now, a month into the season, we look like we've got it working properly. That defense is coming along. The offense is coming along. They're just going to keep getting better, and they're just going to be an absolute nightmare to try and match up against. And that's what makes us so great, just the mesh of old and new.
I agree. All right, so let's go ahead and give you a shout out on the channel. Tell everybody where they can find your content, look you up, you and the guys overseas.
Yeah, you can find me at Roar of the Lions UK. We're a group of Detroit Lions fans from across the pond, very passionate fans for the Lions. So if you want to come and listen to your Lions news from a British perspective, then yeah, check us out at Roar of the Lions UK. And appreciate you, Dan. Appreciate you, do crew, as always. Hope you have a lovely bye week. No cardiac cats this week, no heart. We can just sit and watch other teams go at it for a week and take a break before we go to the Cowboys.
I'll go enjoy it. All right, my friend, as always, thank you for hopping on the show. Thanks for doing all you do for the Lions fandom and everybody who's out there in the Duke crew. Go ahead and check out the channel. Go show your love and support. So, Anthony, we'll see you on the next one.
We'll see you soon. Take care, Dan.
See you now. All right, let's get back to it. Hey, Manifest My Destiny. Haven't seen you in a hot minute, man. Good to see you. Question of the day. What do you think the Lions brass will focus on during the bye week in preparation for the Cowboys in 2 weeks? I would say basically just, it's going to come down, in my opinion, because our run defense, I know Anthony just talked about it. Most of us probably agree with it. The run defense up the middle is pretty sound. I would say against Seattle, we saw some of the guys, Carlton Davis III, Rodrigo, just come up too aggressively, not keep containment, and allow Walker III to get out wide. You're going to have to fix that. Now, assuming that does get fixed, now it just comes down to your responsibilities in the passing game. CeeDee Lamb cannot be allowed to go off. Or does Aaron Glenn just have the mantra that, hey, we'll let him get his, but everybody else doesn't get anything? That's where I think the big test is, and who gets, when we go man-to-man, because we all get it's going to happen, who is going to be responsible for CeeDee Lamb. He roasted us last year. Maybe the only reason why they were in the game, but it is what it is. We'll see what they come up with. Huskar, fake broski will take that bet. Maybe. Hey, the money's still green, though, right? A day, what do you got? The fastest human ever, Usain Bolt. Yeah, it's 27.33 miles per hour. There you go. Derek, the fastest recorded human speed is 27.8 miles per hour by Usain Bolt. So, all right, well, Usain is very fast. I think we all agree. Chuck E. Cheese, it was probably 25 miles per hour because of the running back from Baltimore. Forget the name. He clocked in at 21 on the run last week. They said some kind of record. Yeah, Derrick Henry. Yeah, he pulled away from everybody. And the dude that big, that massive, pulling away from everybody else on the other team, yeah, that's got to be disheartening for those trying to chase him. Donber, I remember a certain wide receiver group was supposed to be the wide receiver trio in the NFL race to 1,000. Was Solgren. Well, DJ, Rome, Allen, all under 200 yards. Yeah, it's. I do seem to remember somebody in the channel saying that the Bears wide receiver group was going to be the best in the league, and yet their stats would not support that this time. The only thing I can say is stats don't mean all. The players can still be incredibly talented, but if you're distributing the ball across everybody evenly, not everybody's going to have the standout that if they were the man on the team, so to speak. Dennis, Allen doesn't play. Yes, there's that aspect too. Phil, headlines, Jen snores. Yes, she does from a little bit. So we got some breaking news there. JK, number 3 quarterback, is obviously from, I would say yes, from Evermore. There we go. Broski, Allen, I already have bets with 2 Lions fans that Bears don't get swept by Lions this season. I only bet money. Well, now we know what you bet with. Let's see, Brett, from here to the eternity, 100% with that. There you go. JK, JMO is a cheetah, is my guess. He's pretty dang fast. And again, maybe I misread it or whatever. I can only say I could have swore I saw that on the screen during the game. But somebody, again, I could be wrong. See, Broski, Allen, let's see. I'm not ruling out betting you, but would need to see you around here more or on other channels before I trust to bet you. It's easy money in my eyes, but I only bet for money. There you go. Allen, cop out, Broski. If you really thought your team was worth a shot, you would back them. Yeah, well, we'll see what he does. Here's Phil. Bet for picks, pink slips. Or, go. Only real gamblers around here. Fair enough. Hot Cheetah says, JK, Donber, anything, including the Bears, would be easy. Shouldn't be used. There you go. Yes, and don't use the easy word with the Bears. Alan, all right, broski, how about you bet your team finishes last? All right. Like I said, I haven't. Right, I'm going to let you guys have your bet talks here. All right, Derek, give JMO at least 6 targets a game, and the magic will happen. I think he will, man. I think JMO, if he's open, he's probably going to get it. I think as they get more familiar with the offense and used to each other, you're going to just see the ball flung all over the place, sort of like you did Monday. It was pretty even across the board. Okay, dude, JMO is actually Steve Austin, the freaking Bionic Man. That might be. Here's hope. He's not scared. He's smart. Nobody should be putting money on the Bears. Okay, we'll go with that. Thomas, hey, good to see you, man. It's been a minute. Arnold just needs to watch his hands. Could have cost us that game with as much as he puts his hands on receivers during the routes. Yeah, you can tell he's clearly used to that in college. Can't do it so much in the pros. I still like Aikman's thoughts about putting oven mitts on him during practice. See, Amy, good morning, Dan, the Duke Crew, exclamation point, one pride. Woo, woo. Good morning to you too, Amy. Good to see you. Hey, on BS Broski, you're checking, all right. Hookadoo, no, Broski really does have a bet with Anthony. Yes, they do have a bet. This is correct. Let's see, Moonscar, keep coming back, Alan. We have some same weeks until Thanksgiving, but paying through Dan's channel does cost a healthy percentage. Yeah, it sounds like you guys know that stuff more than me, but anytime, like if you guys do a donation or whatever you call it on the YouTube or whatever, they do take out a percentage of it. So if you give me 50 and expect 50 coming back, I'm sorry, man, I'm not paying the difference because I'm not paying for whatever you paid YouTube. Yeah, I hope that makes sense. Bo, good morning, Duke Crew. I see the Brit with grit is on. Good day, Anthony. Woo! Yeah, he's a good dude, man. Good dude indeed. See, Moonscar. Hi, Bo Booth, Moonscar. Chuck E. Cheese, as I watch the D-line besides Hutch, they are pretty good. They all seem to get pressure, but I think we still need a D lineman now that Davenport is hurt, laughing out loud. Yeah, Davenport, it's unfortunate what happened to him with a karate chop to the elbow a couple times. Do they make a move? I think there is some possibility. If somebody's selling and, it's not going to kill the future for the Lions, I do think Brad Holmes will at least kick the tires on it. Creative idea. Give Ague a chance for 2 or 3 games. I hope he will do good. Let's go. That's a possibility, too. Could they bring him up? You're going to have to trust in the coaching staff. Chuck E. Cheese, there's no cap in the NFL. Nobody is too expensive. Yeah, there could be a lot of truth to that. Aaron E., what do you got? Let's go, Lions. Roar, 100%. Good to see you this morning, and hopefully having a great one. Creative idea, bring back Charles Harris, better than nothing. Yeah, maybe indeed. Dominic, good morning from Texas. Good morning to you, too, my friend. Hopefully it's a nice day down there. Chuck E. Cheese, who says we are going to lose one of those division road games? I think we can sweep. There's always possibility. The Lions, because they are so physical, their game should travel pretty well on the road. Let's see what shakes out. Broski, Chuck E. Cheese, do you think the Lions will sweep the division games? We'll have to wait and see. Only one way to tell. Chuck E. Cheese, they set the schedule sweetly. Start off season at home a lot, end the season at home a lot. That's how you want it. I'll take that. See, Broski, Chuck E. Cheese, you are saying the Lions will sweep the division games? We'll find out. Chris, Saint blocks tackles, catches, and throws Swiss Army knife. Yes, man. And you know what? What do the Lions want out of their players? Guys that can do it all. Is that still you? Thank you, Anthony. Yeah, does a great job for the show. And, hey, what he does on his channel is also great, too. Go feel free to support him. Chuck E. Cheese, it is very possible, broski, I think, but we would have to be healthy and all those little things. Will they? Probably not, but I think they will have a good shot as any. Yeah, probably reasonably as good a chance as anybody, but going undefeated in your own division, that's pretty tough to do. We'll see if the Lions can pull it off. Big D, thank you, Roar UK. There you go. Hooky dude, thanks, Anthony, from across the pond, 100%. Bo, absolutely, Anthony. We have youth and skills, old age and treachery. Exclamation point. Thanks. A thumbs up. Let's see, Chew, what do you got? Dolphins going to try to trade for St. Brown for a quarterback. maybe indeed. But they are, in all honesty, and I don't mean this in a bad way, I think the Miami Dolphins have a great team. They just do not have stability at quarterback. Is Tua going to come back? Probably. I hope he doesn't for his personal safety and sanity and his family, but it's ultimately his choice. And if that's how he wants to roll, that's how he's going to go. I just think if I'm the Miami Dolphins, I'm addressing the quarterback position this offseason or this season because it's no disrespect to Tua, but he is one shot away from being done for forever. And I thoughts and prayers for him and his family. All right, Chuck E. Cheese, taking the homer out of me. I think the Lions are a very, very good team. Yeah, there's no glaring weakness with the Lions. There are a lot of strengths with this team. Could they always do more to improve the team? Absolutely. But I do think they value their draft picks and their assessments of those players far more than bringing in somebody from the outside. But you never know. Brad Holmes has tried in the past few years to acquire people like Sweat, who's now with the Bears. They just got outbid for him. There came a point where Brad Holmes said, I'm not paying over this to get that guy. Or Josh Allen from Jacksonville. What's his name from the Carolina now with the Giants? I mean, he's attempted to make some moves. See, Moonscar, hey, all over 200 watching and only 67 likes. Yeah, if you guys can, hit that thumbs up button, hit that like button. Phil, burst of speed is not the top speed on JMO. This is true. You can, for a half second, a full second, supersede that. Yes, correct. Hookadoo, I did my part in the beginning of the show, Moonscar. Hey, thank you for that. See, Phil, thank you, Broski. Good observation today. There you go. Alan, Lions may not sweep the division, but they will sweep the Teddy Bears. Okay? Shots being fired. Moonscar, Hookadoo, I know you do and wanted to let you know I saw your funny comments to me yesterday. There you go. Phil, can tell the future. Let's just expect great games. I'll go with that. And yes, can't. I kind of figured where you were going with that. Let's see. Johnny L., good morning, Detroit. Good morning to you too, Johnny. Let's see. Thomas, purchased my ticket to the game against the Cowgirls. I can't wait! Exclamation points. Let's go! Well, go enjoy it, my friend. Go have a great time down there. Let's see. Moonscar, 2 minutes to midnight, ticking time bomb. Yeah, and the fact that his latest concussion, where you could see the neurological aspects of the brain locking up, which is, you could see it in the elbows, you could see it in the fingertips. To me, even though it's not my field of study, I would say that's the more alarming thing to me, because the brain is showing that kind of sensitivity to it. The brain is sort of like blowing out your knee or your back. It's just, once the tire starts getting rid of the tread, that tread never comes back. And the brain, you can do some things to get over a bum ankle, a bum back, or a bum knee. You can't do anything to fix a broken brain, and that's my problem for Tua. And I'd really be encouraging him, if I was a friend or family member, it's time to hang it up, man. You got your money. There's nothing more you can do. I mean, I get you want to win the Super Bowl, you want to be a team player and everything. That's just how football players or athletes are wired. But at the same time, you got to make a legitimate, good call for you as an individual. I'd say, Brent, bye week actually came at a good time. We need to heal up for this tough part of our schedule. Yeah, 4 to 5 next games on the road. Go Lions. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're not wrong, man. It will be a test. So you survive this test. And let's say we win all of them or only lose one of them. I think, man, you've put yourself in a real good spot for the closing stretch of the season. Phil, there are a few players wearing those pads on the helmet. Tua wears one. He doesn't. And, do they help? Probably to a certain extent. My problem or thought is it's not going to be enough to help him. But maybe there's more intrinsic information than I'm aware of out there, or detailed analysis, how much they do or don't help. See, I love Detroit. Beautiful city. Great people. Great football teams. I'll go with that, Alan, and concur. Michael D., once again, great show, Coach. Thanks for all you do. Hey, anytime. I enjoy being here with you guys, and hopefully you guys enjoy it too. All right, guys, I'll go ahead and wrap this one up. If there is breaking news later today, I'll get it over to you as quick as I can. Otherwise, if you haven't yet subscribed, please consider doing so. Also, if you'd be so kind, hit that thumbs up button. Be kind to others. We'll see you all in the next Lions Talk Live. Take care, everybody.
Happy trails to you until we meet again.